How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host,
Ryan Sutfield.
That's fucking right. And hey, listen, if you're new to the show, welcome. Hopefully I didn't scare you off with my face. This is a show where we take a look at the movies coming out on Friday, and we'll pick like an actor, director, genre, what have you, and we'll make a top 5 list according to that movie, you know, to kind of honor it or whatever. So, yeah, that's what we do here. And the cool thing about the show is that it's live, so you have no idea what the hell's going to come out of our mouths, and we don't know each other's lists. But before we begin the show, we have a guest. And since he is a part of Brian's show, Brian, would you like to introduce our guest?
My co-host of Nerdy Scores Film Podcast, Matt Wapner.
Hey, Chase, it's been a while since we last had a bit of episode together, I think.
What was the last one you were on?
Summer. It was the summer movies of, I forgot. Was it 2015? Yeah, it was 15. Yeah.
What year was it?
So basically a year ago.
What? I didn't drink.
Stop lying to the audience.
Either way, it's been a long time, but So with that being said, since we have 3 people on this one, we're gonna have 3 different lists, and I have this trusty little board here, so I'll keep track of what our list is, and we'll look at it at the end. But first, how are you gentlemen doing today?
Doing great. Can't wait for tomorrow for Hardcore Henry.
Hardcore Henry tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I hope you guys have fun with that. All right, so if you guys want to hear my review on that or my thoughts on that, my review is up on the channel, or I'm going to be talking on the podcast in depth for sure. Jake Gyllenhaal, Jake G, is what we're doing. Brian, Matt, when you think of Jake Gyllenhaal, like, what do you think of? Like, what's the one thing that comes to your mind? Do you think of his more recent stuff? Do you think of more past stuff? Or what are we dealing with here?
I'm thinking more of the recent stuff involving the constant weight loss, the weight gain, the muscular aspect, different kinds of roles, different directors each and every time. Those are the kind of roles I think. And pretty much every role he's done since 2012, he's been in Oscar buzz, and people are like, oh my God, he's got to be nominated for this and that and that. And I mean, it's really, this resurgence has been a big deal of Gyllenhaal's career. So that's what I think of.
I do love his modern stuff, but I do have a couple somewhat older movies before the 2012 buzz. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting list. Yeah.
I was looking at his IMDb list earlier today, and it's funny because like he's been acting since 1991, and yeah, he's had some hits and stuff back in the day. But man, once 2011 hit with Source Code, the guy's been on fire ever since. Like if you look at 2012, 13, 14, and 15, he's had at least 3 movies come out a year. I'm not even joking. Like look at his list. There's at least on average 3 movies a year, and he's got 2 movies in pre-production right now, 1 in production. He's filming the Boston Bomber movie right now, and then he's got a couple in post-production. So it's like, dear God, does the guy even take a break? Brian, why are we honoring this young man today?
Because Demolition comes out this weekend in limited release.
Yeah, I saw Demolition, and I overall liked it. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, my review is on the channel. But first, before we begin our list, are you guys looking forward to Demolition?
We're seeing it on Saturday.
Yeah.
We're going to see it on Saturday.
Well, shit. We'll have fun. I like both, but I think you like Demolition more than Hardcore Henry. So, man, that movie was fucking psychotic. All right, so let's go ahead and begin this. So what we'll do is we'll go from 5 to 1, and then we'll have honorable mentions and dishonorable mentions, and then Brian will introduce next week's topic. So let's do this. It's number 5 time. So we're going to start with our guest, and we'll go around the horn. So, Matt, what is your number 5 favorite Jake Gyllenhaal film of all time?
It is a movie that I think was the first time I may have been experienced to him somewhat that I remember. And that movie at number 5 is October Sky.
Oh, nice. I remember watching that shit as a kid. Like, that was like one of the first Jake Gyllenhaal movies that I saw. So that's a great answer. So tell us why that is one of your personal favorites.
Well, it's such a good movie because, first of all, I like Cold War stuff. And, and it takes place during that time. Plus, the old, like, people were mining. And there's like, hey, you have to be a miner. But he wants to be, like, a rocket scientist. And it's just really interesting seeing that conflict of interest during that 1950s, 60s America. as well as him trying to like do what he wants. And it's a really good movie. It's a really good kid-friendly movie, but it's also got some important messages in there as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in quite some time. Like I think literally the last time I saw it was when I was a kid. But yeah, he's Wham Bam on the cover. So if you guys want to check out October Sky, he's right there on the front. Brian, would you like to talk about this one or move on? I'm assuming it's not on your list.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
I was just gonna say you don't seem like an October Sky person that just saw it like recently.
I remember when I was like 10 years old, my mom was like, "Oh my God, son, you need to watch this movie." And I'm like, "Mom, why?" Oh. And then I watched it just to get her off my ass, and then I enjoyed it for what it was. So I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I feel like I would enjoy it more at this age.
But Brian,
fine. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, I think any movie that you watch as a kid, like you'll appreciate way more than when you're older. First, before we get to Brian, I have to ask you, gentlemen, which horror film set are you guys on, or which basement from the Silence of the Lambs are you in right now? Like, I'm just where?
Like the 10 Cloverfield Lane bunker type of thing.
Okay, well, where's John Goodman at? He's gonna come and slice you guys up. All right, so
back room.
He's in the back room. Okay. All right, so Brian, let's move it over to you. What is your number 5 pick?
My number 5 film, I think, is one that's higher on both of your lists, and I know you'll be shocked. Mm-hmm. My number 5 is Prisoners, and to me, what made this film work, like this was my number 1 Hugh Jackman film because I thought he and Gyllenhaal were the best things about this movie. But Denis Villeneuve's direction, this was my first exposure to him, and I mean, I remember when I first saw the trailer. It looked haunted. I wanted to probably cry in the corner and like just I couldn't handle what this was. And of course, when he said Detective Loki, I laughing inside, but of course I shouldn't be laughing. But you know, it's whatever. But Gyllenhaal did a terrific job in this film. There's a particular scene where he kind of goes up to Paul Daniels' character and just attacks him in the interrogation room, and it's honestly one of the best acted scenes from Gyllenhaal's catalog. And I think that for what Gyllenhaal did in this movie, playing the cop right after End of Watch, he did a pretty damn good job. And whenever he works with Denis Villeneuve, he's usually a pro. I'll bring up one of his films later on. And yeah, Prisoners, fantastic movie. But to me, I loved Hugh Jackman's performance slightly more than Gyllenhaal. But hopefully in the future, they go and do a movie together again under Denis Villeneuve's direction. Prisoners is a flawless film, in my opinion, and it is my number 5.
That's very interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it because it's not on my list. Listen, Prisoners is a dark, grim movie that you can't watch once every year. It's one of those ones you gotta space it out. But it was the introduction to Denis Villeneuve, the director, and that was his stamp, man. Like that, he just basically threw out that film. He's like, I'm here to fucking stay, guys. Like, learn to pronounce my name correctly. So, yeah, Prisoners is a really good pick. I didn't put it on there because Jake Gyllenhaal is good, but you're right. It's Hugh Jackman's movie. But I'm not going to deny it's not a great movie because it is. I got it on Blu-ray, so it's good. So, Matt, would you like to talk about Prisoners, or would you like to move on?
I'd like to move on because it's on my list.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen. There is a clue on Matt's list. He's got Prisoners on there somewhere. Okay. I'm going to write that down. Guys, if you're new to this, Brian gets really angry every single week because I'm a master at this. I guess the list every single time of Brian's and any guests we bring on. And, they just are completely floored. They're just like, Chris Angel who? Well, Chase Lee is obviously the best magician right now. So, I can pull it out of my ass, man. I can nail down those lists. So, and Brian's just rolling his eyes right now. All right, so my number 5, I'm going to go with another ensemble cast movie, not Prisoners, and do a similar type of tone movie. But everyone in this movie sticks out. Like, everyone has their prominent role in the movie, and everyone brings to the table what they ultimately bring. I'm going to go with Zodiac. Not only is it a great kind of murder, mystery, thriller type of movie of the Zodiac Killer, like I said, everyone's got their prominent roles in there. Robert Downey Jr. is great. Jake Gyllenhaal is great. Mark Ruffalo is great. And under David Fincher's direction, you can just tell that there was a lot of passion poured into this movie, just like every other Fincher movie. It's dark, it's dreary, it's really well-rounded, especially for a 3-hour-long movie. For the fact that it can fucking zip by just like that, that's impressive. And so in terms of like film quality and film, Production, this is one of the best ones he's ever even been a part of. Just to be under David Fincher's direction is just incredible. And to hear the stories on set of like Robert Downey Jr. going, they had to do each take like 50 times or whatever. It's like, yeah, shit, that's what Fincher does. So, this is my number 5 pick.
I think we're both going to pass on this
Oh, my. Okay. Oh, man. I'm just going to nail this list. They're going to be in shock, everyone. All right. So we got Zodiac on Brian's, and we got Prisoners in Zodiac on Matt. Okay. So let's move to number 4. Matt, take it away.
Well, you just said the movie before. My number 4 is Zodiac.
Oh, crap. That's my number 4, too.
Oh, shit. You guys can double team now. All right. So listen, if you want, I mean, you're already in the basement, so it's already going to get freaky enough. So go ahead, Brian and Matt. Go ahead and talk about Zodiac. And why am I wrong? Why did you guys put it above mine?
The thing with this one for me, and I know you'll have different opinions, like this isn't my favorite David Fincher film, but it is a very well done film in his filmography. Like you said, 3 hours long. I will say when I first saw it, it didn't fly by that quickly for me. I kind of felt the pace in most scenes, but then there were some scenes where I didn't feel it. But then the second time I saw it, it flew by that quickly because I was so into it. Gyllenhaal is great as this cartoonist who at first is like, oh, what's going on? Then he becomes more obsessed with this case as the movie goes on and on and on. And like his back and forth with Mark Ruffalo and Robert Downey Jr. is really good. But like I said, the thing that makes me impressed with his performance the most is just how obsessed he is with this case. He doesn't stop thinking about it day after night, day after night. Like, the performance is just brilliant. Fincher knows how to get the best out of all of his actors. I think we brought this up a few weeks ago when we talked about Ben Affleck with Gone Girl and stuff. But Gyllenhaal working with Fincher is already a perfect thing no matter what. And the Zodiac case was always something that interests me when I first learned about it. In 9th grade, I think I learned about it. Maybe 8th grade, I don't remember. But this is a very well-crafted, tension-filled film that no one did as good as David Fincher. That's just how I see it, but it's not my favorite David Fincher film. I think it's your personal favorite David Fincher film. It's one of my favorites,
yeah. There's like, there's a lot of other good movies I love Fincher. But what I like about this movie is that other than that it's completely historically like pretty accurate to its source, is that also it's just, again, like with the obsession, it's like the hidden message in that movie. Like you got like this investigation going on, but it's also got the hidden message of like shows what obsession does to people. Like through all 3 characters, Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr. and Jake Gyllenhaal. And it's just really, I don't know, it's just really like interesting to see how people just break down just because they want to figure out one stupid thing, even though it's a pretty big thing.
Well, that's what's great about the movie, and that's why I put it on my list is because Jake Gyllenhaal is a cartoonist in the movie. Like he's a very like minor role, but he gets so enveloped into the case or whatever. It's like, I find it more interesting when all 3 of the characters are obsessing over this killer than what the killer is doing. Like, that's what's great because we have a fascination of curiosity, I guess, as humans or whatever. And it's just great to see people get obsessed with one specific thing to find out the truth and stuff. And it's just, it's a really well-rounded movie and stuff. So you guys, Zodiac for number 4. And so you chose a dark movie for yours, and I'm going to choose an even darker and weirder movie than Prisoners, and that would be his follow-up, Enemy. Okay, listen, this fucking movie, I remember I saw it for the very first time, and I saw it with the lady that runs the website that I write for as a press member in Dallas, and we sat there, and we're just like, oh, this is such a great movie. And the last 5 seconds, when it ended, I was like, okay. I like it. I don't know what the fuck is going on though. This was one of those movies to where you actually had to go home and research. It just is. And when you find out the reasons why, like they were putting in all those hidden clues, I'm not going to say of what, but they have subliminal messaging and clues of a certain thing in the movie, and it all ties together at the end. And so when you look it up, it's like, holy shit, that was actually really smart. But Jake Gyllenhaal plays 2 characters. He plays a very well-rounded type of professor. He's really humble and stuff. And then he plays like a douchey-looking actor or whatever. So, it's a really fascinating movie on like multiple personalities and stuff, and just how it all kind of ties in. It almost felt like a Hitchcock movie like kind of. It was almost kind of Hitchcocky. It was just very subtle, but it was really creepy. And I'm telling you, the last 5 seconds, you're like, what the dick is going on? And when you're sitting there and you have no idea what to expect, it just happens on screen, and then you shit yourself. And so, if you have arachnophobia, that's your clue, then you will shit your pants. All right, so, but Enemy is really well crafted. It's really well acted. It's one of my favorite kind of multiple personality movies until the Leonardo DiCaprio one comes out, because he plays like 15 personalities. Until that comes out, this is like my favorite one so far. But it's really well acted. It's creepy. It's a really good type of suspense thriller, but it's like a super slow burn. Like I said, that's why it kind of feels like Hitchcock, even with the camera movements and the music and stuff. It's super creepy and weird, but I love it to death. So would you two like to talk about Enemy or move on?
I'm going to pass on this one.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I actually haven't seen Enemy, so I can't comment. It's the only Villeneuve movie I haven't seen, actually.
You need to fucking see that. It is delicious. It's deliciously weird, but it's good. Brian, would you like to talk about it?
I said I would pass.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because yeah, I'm thinking about Enemy, and so I didn't hear what you said. So yeah, if you guys have not seen Enemy, it was one of those like kind of like hidden gems in 2013. Well, it came out in 2014, but it was released in 2013, like earlier, like in festivals and stuff, but it was like January 2014. So I think it was like literally 4 months after Prisoner. So it was like a nice little combo of Villeneuve back to back. So and then of course he came out with Sicario last year. So the guy's on a roll, and then of course Blade Runner 2. I'm literally a follower of him now. I will watch anything he does. If you want to do a fucking commercial of Home Depot, I will fucking watch it, because it'll be dark and dreary. And it'll probably have 2 Jake Gyllenhaals buying planks of wood. All right, so yeah, we're on to number 3. So with that being said, Matt, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is when Jake Gyllenhaal shaved his head and he picked up Michael Pena as his partner, which is End of Watch.
Nice. Okay. So tell me why this one made your list, because I'm gonna give people a hint right now. It is not on my list, but I really like the movie a lot. So why does this movie speak out to you more than others?
What I like about it is that how accurately, like you have these 2 guys who are like, oh yeah, you could definitely buy them as partners in real life after watching the full movie, because they have such good chemistry, Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena, as well as the ending, which I don't want to talk about. That's really sad, and it's kind of like, holy shit, he basically went through hell, Jake Gyllenhaal, because of this, and all this other stuff, and how corruption and stuff like that. Just David Ayer did a really good job with that movie, as well as Jake Gyllenhaal gave a really good performance as a cop, which he didn't even look like him at first, if you didn't like notice.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah.
He had the same look as he did in wasn't he shaved in Jarhead?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he kind of like had the same look. Jake Gyllenhaal he's weird, man. Like he'll shave his head, he'll grow a beard, he'll cut his hair, he'll grow it out. Like the motherfucker. But yeah, End of Watch is a good one. I actually didn't see that in theaters. That was one of the ones I skipped. Not because it didn't look interesting, it's because I didn't have time, and I saw it on Netflix. And I really enjoyed it. So yeah, good pick, man. Brian, would you like to talk about that, or move on to your choice?
Damn good film. Didn't make my list. Love it. It's fantastic. It was one of my favorites of 2012. Just couldn't put it on my list.
Okay. So we're whittling down the choices, and Brian's gonna get super angry when I guess it right. Okay. All right. So what is your number 3?
My number 3 is Source Code.
Oh shit. Okay. Wow. Out of all the ones he's done, Source Code made your list.
Yes, it's a very, very well done film. This was my introduction to Duncan Jones, because I didn't see Moon at the time. I saw it shortly after this. And Duncan Jones is a fucking king. Well, I mean, his father was the fucking king, David Bowie. But this movie, Groundhog Day meets Inception, it looked kind of silly, but it was executed very well, because it's just the interesting premise and Jake Gyllenhaal's performance alone. See, Jake Gyllenhaal pretty much makes any movie that he's in, even if the movie's absolute horseshit, he makes the movie better than what it is. And I loved his chemistry with Michelle Monaghan. Bay. And just like we've seen this premise done so many times, like I said, with Groundhog Day, but because of the execution in this film and how like surprising it was with the twists and turns, it worked very well with him being inside the body of someone else. And yeah, the trailers kind of ruined a little bit of the movie, but you had an idea, you didn't know what was going to happen just because of how tension-filled the movie was, credited to Duncan Jones. And like you did with Moon was such a tension-filled movie, and that's why I'm hoping with Warcraft. I'm hoping Warcraft has a good element of tension, and I really hope that film does not. Yeah, I just hope that's another good triple threat like Denis Villeneuve. Prisoners, boom. Enemy, boom. Sicario, boom. Duncan Jones, you need to do that well with Warcraft, man. I have my faith in you, but you got to do it well. But Source Code, I think, is a very well-done film. I think it was one of the criminally underrated films. Like, yeah, it has a very high rating. I checked it as like a 92%, which is pretty great for a film like this. But I think it deserved a little more money at the box office and stuff. So, yeah, Source Code, excellent film. My number 3.
I mean, listen, I wrote it down on my list as potential candidates because it is one I have seen. I like it. It's solid, but I don't know, man. I couldn't put it on my list, but I can't really fault you for it because when I say my number 3, everyone's just going to want to throw, whatever at my face. So, yeah, I haven't seen Source Code since I actually saw Moon in theaters, and I was like, my God, this is amazing. And then I remember seeing Source Code in theaters, and I was like, that was good. And like that was kind of like my reaction. But you're right, though. Jake Gyllenhaal could literally be in the worst movie ever, but God damn it, he's going to give 100%. So, yeah, even if people don't like any Jake Gyllenhaal movies, it's like at least you can admire the guy for at least giving it his all. So I really commend him for that. So okay, so we got into watching Source Code. I'm going to throw one on my list to where people might kind of just roll their eyes, but whatever. I'm going to go ahead and just say it right now. Listen, I saw it in theaters, and I was like, holy shit. Besides a couple of story elements, I really like this movie quite a bit. And I was shocked to see that everyone was fucking bashing this thing. And not really bashing it like a Batman v Superman, because God forbid that was a slaughter. But it was more of like a soft, like, it was whatever. It was really cliche and stuff. And I was like, but it was a damn good boxing movie. I'm going to go with Southpaw. And I know a lot of people will be like, really? Like, that's going to make your list? I like the movie a lot. I've seen it 3 times already. I love the relationship between him and his daughter. The child that's in that movie, that little girl actress, she's amazing. And now listen, I will say this. The one thing that pissed me off about the entire movie is that the trailer ruined a pretty major plot point, and I am really angry that I saw it. But other than that, and maybe a certain thing with Forrest Whitaker's character, I really liked it a lot, man. It's a really good boxing movie. It's visceral. It's entertaining. I love the fight sequences that they have in the ring. It feels like an HBO match. It's really good, and there's a lot of depth between Jake Gyllenhaal's character and his daughter and the relationship there and how it's broken, how he needs to gain it back and stuff. Who the fuck cares if it's cliched? How many times are we going to see Rocky do the same fucking storyline over and over again? I know. Yeah, I fucking said it. Listen, most boxing movies are the same. But I like this one because it focuses on the relationship with his daughter. I think that's a huge step up from most boxing movies and stuff. Like I said, there's a couple of things I didn't care for. Like, I didn't really care for Curtis, 50 Cent, and Jackson in it. Didn't really care for that. So I'm not saying it's perfect, but I fucking loved it, man. And I loved his performance. And like, there's that one scene that always gets me where he's like on his bed, like screaming into his blanket, and there's a fucking gun in front of him. And it's like, dude, like, Jake Gyllenhaal's the fucking man. But Southpaw is my number 3. So, gentlemen, please throw it back at me. Like, why am I crazy to put this on my list?
I like the film a lot. I actually really dug it. I will say that the first time I saw it, I like loved it. But then over time, just like it was very, very, very good. Just not like A. I gave it an A originally, then went down to a B+. I thought it was a very good film. Yes, the cliches are there. Yes, every boxing movie has its fair share of cliches, but the film is well done to the point where you're okay. I can ignore the cliches. then it works well. And Gyllenhaal killed it once again. He did a great job once again, as usual. And yes, that trailer. Say what you want about the Batman v Superman trailer, but the Southpaw trailer spoiled way too much. Way too much. I don't know who did this trailer, but Weinstein, you should have edited that trailer and be like, oh no, you guys are spoiling everything. Cut everything out. Cut the big plot point out, and then you're fine. Don't.
Well, because the thing is, like, it would have been really impactful if we didn't know that was going to happen, and you're sitting there going, oh, wow, everything's hunky-dory, and then that fucking happens. You're like, what? And then you get more emotionally invested. So it's like, that trailer drives me nuts because when I watched it, I was like, this is a pretty good trailer. I can't wait to see this. I really hope that's not like, a major plot point. Yeah, it definitely is. So, yeah. So, Matt, did you see Southpaw?
I saw it in theaters when it came out. I haven't watched it since, even though I have it on Blu-ray. But still, I'll agree, though. It's a very good movie. It didn't make my list. But it was still a very good movie. And I remember I gave it like an A-. I still stand by that. I think that's a really good rating.
Yeah.
But I just think Creed, I'm not going to say this, but I think Creed's still better, though. But still.
Hey, listen, I love Creed, and I've only seen 2 Rocky movies. So I liked every boxing movie that came out last year, but I think people rip on Southpaw too much, and it's got like a fucking 57%. That means like the majority of people didn't like it. What are you doing? Like,
it should be like 75. Like, what the fuck?
Oh God, it drives me nuts. I don't know. Maybe I just enjoy it way more than people, and maybe I have a heart. I don't fucking know. All right, so we're getting into our top 2. Now this is going to be interesting because, folks, let's just call a spade a spade. I think we all have pretty much Nightcrawler on there somewhere. But what is the remaining one? Now I'm assuming, since they got both of theirs open, I'm assuming Matt's number 2 is Prisoners, and I'm assuming that Brian's number 2 is Enemy. Gentlemen, I'll let Matt go first, and then Brian can do his. So, Matt, am I correct?
You are wrong. My number 2 is Nightcrawler.
Oh my God!
What? Oh,
you fuck!
What?
You fucking dumbass!
What? He's freaking out right now. So
what did you say to Brian, and why is he storming off like he just like lost the lottery or something,
or the Super Bowl? It's just probably because he's freaked out. Because I would take Prisoners over that. So he's just why he's probably freaked out. But while he's having a meltdown right now, and he's probably just going to cause thousands of deaths, and he's got a fucking stick. Okay. But here's why I think that Nightcrawler is number 2, though.
Okay.
I really, both movies, it was a tough decision because they're both like on that same level for me. Because, I mean, when I saw Nightcrawler, I loved that movie, and I still think he was robbed of an Oscar nomination that year. And then also with Prisoners, well, when we get to that, we'll talk about that more. But here's what I like about Nightcrawler so much. Nightcrawler is just such a good character study of like how fucked up somebody can be. From like just being like simply, oh hey, I'm gonna get into like the night crawling business by going around filming crimes and violence and stuff, and then selling it, and then eventually to like just becoming a sociopath eventually by the end, which we're still not gonna talk about how crazy that movie ends. Oh man, but everything's so good because the dialogue's really good. There's some really intense scenes. I remember too when he like freaking punches the mirror and all that and freaks the hell out. It was great. I remember that scene. It's such a good movie, but it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's because Prisoners is deeper in my heart because I saw that first, but still though, it's still a great movie.
Yeah. I'll discuss Nightcrawler later. Brian, put the broom down and sit your ass back down. Okay. So all you audio listeners right now, Brian, he got up, he did like a cartwheel. He started climbing on the wall and then like, he grabbed a broom from someone's asshole and then
fucking Holland. That's the truth. I should have gotten that role, Marvel. Fuck you guys.
Okay, so Brian, I already know that it's on your list. So, Brian, is Enemy your number 2?
You are correct, indeed. Enemy is my number 2. Now, I didn't see this in the theater because it didn't come anywhere in this fucking shitty-ass state we like to call New Jersey. And I had to wait for it when it came out on Amazon Prime, which was after 2014 ended, so it couldn't have made my list, and it would have. Actually would have been like my number 6. Enemy is probably the most confusing film I've ever seen in my life. Like you said, when you watch the film, the last 5 seconds, you're like, well, I just shit in my pants, and now I need to go cry in the corner because I want fucking answers. Gyllenhaal, once again, the fucking king, playing 2 people, fucking dope. The twists and turns are insane. I mean, Denis Villeneuve, once again, did a terrific job. Yeah, and it's a really short film, but if you're not into films like this, you might find it very slow. But to me, I thought it was a very tightly paced film, and I thought it worked very well. And it's A24, and A24 is the fucking king of film companies right now, film studios right now. So Nightcrawler, like you said, everything with the tension-filled stuff, the confusion, and the fact that you have to go home and research this stuff. There's a whole video about analyzations and stuff. This one person spent months researching the film. I don't want to disclose the person's name or anything, but people who watch movie reviews on YouTube probably know who I'm talking about. And it just got me thinking. I'm like, okay, this is understandable. And yes, if you have a fear of the certain kind of theme-a-jiggy, then yeah, you're not going to like this film. You're going to have to go and throw up. I'm glad this film didn't make me throw up like Sicario did after I saw it. So, I mean, yes. There we go. The end. Enemy, my number 2, fantastic. Go see it if you didn't see it.
Yeah, I cannot stress this enough. Enemy, I'm not going to lie. It is weird. It is very fucking weird. But, like Brian said, it's only 90 minutes long, flies by, and just the curiosity of how it's going to end should really just kind of like intrigue you to watch it. So, yeah, I cannot stress it enough. Please, for the love of everything that is holy, watch Enemy. That one is just, it's underappreciated, man. Like, Prisoners and Sicario get a lot of love, but no one talks about Enemy. And I think Enemy to this day, it's still my favorite one that he's done. Just because it was so unique and weird that it stood out amongst the 3 that he's done so far. Okay, so, gentlemen, why on earth is this movie not on your list? I don't know. Maybe I like it more than most people. Maybe I'm just a sap. I'm curious as to why you guys don't have Brokeback Mountain on your list, because that's my number 2.
Haven't seen it.
I saw it. I couldn't put it on. It's number 7. It's number 7. Okay. I'm sorry. I can't put this on. If I put this on, then I have to knock off Prisoners. I don't want to do that. Brokeback Mountain, listen, I'll give my brief thoughts on this. It's a great film. It's not a film that I'm comfortable with watching, but I'm only comfortable watching it with a woman. Okay, if I watch it with a man, then it would be the most uncomfortable experience I've ever had in the movie, ever. But Gyllenhaal, fantastic. The only Oscar nomination this guy's had so far for this film. I guess when you make out with Heath Ledger, you're automatically going to get an Oscar nomination. So, I mean,
the Joker and Loki got together.
No, the Joker and Louis Bloom got together.
That too.
So, I mean, yeah, great film. My boy Ang Lee made it. So, I mean, great film. Should have won Best Picture, but trash won. Terrible decision Oscars, and Gyllenhaal actually should have won. I don't know who won that year for supporting actor. I remember we just talked about it last week. We just talked about it last week on the Music Biopics episode. I completely forgot. Oh, man, I'll have to look that up. But go ahead, Chase. Talk about Brokeback Mountain and why it's so fucking good.
It is good. It's a good romance movie. And I'm not going to get political on this because this is not a that type of show. But I'm all for everyone loving whoever the fuck you want to love. And it's a really tender love story. And people, freak out because of the content. And just to let you guys know, since I have seen it, believe it or not, the only nudity that's even in the movie is women. I know, it's crazy. I know, there's sex in there, but there's no nudity. So all those people that want to freak out because it's, considered a gay couple and not a straight couple, then you know what? It teaches his own. But, give it a shot. And the thing I like about it the most is that you believe it. Now, Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal in the movie are married to women, and they start hanging out and stuff, and they start forming a friendship, but you realize that there's something more there. And there's something just really kind of just touching about that, and just realizing what you used to love is not truly who you are, or maybe that's the way they were, and like they try to cover it up or whatever. But there's a certain scene near the end at the creek where Jake is just going off on Heath Ledger and just yelling at him and stuff, and telling him that essentially, you gotta be true to who you are and stuff. And it's just, it's just really good. It's a good love story. It just is, and it was definitely one of the best of 2005 for sure. But don't let the content scare you. It's a good movie. It's well written, well acted. It's like it's kind of shot, and it's almost edited like a Western. It's got like that slow, kind of drawn out vibe to it, but it's a romance. So just check it out. But I like it overall. It's like Brian said, it's Ang Lee. He directed it. He did Life of Pi. He did the first, the Hulk's movie or whatever. But he's a really kind of well-rounded director. He's done a little bit of everything. This was doing something in 2005 where it's a little bit more relevant now. But I'm glad that a major studio released it or whatever. It was considered for Oscars and whatnot. It's just a good movie. I mean, it's really simple. What?
It should have won Best Picture over Crash.
Correct. I Crash is fine with me, but anything should have been over Crash. But Brokeback Mountain should have been definitely the winner. And I really wish the Academy would have took a risk on it and made that the winner, considering the content and stuff, and freak all the old white people of the Academy out. So, Brokeback Mountain, nothing more to say. Simple, tender, it's sweet. Sue me. I like romance movies. I'm a sap at heart. So that's my number 2. So moving on to number 1. I already know Matt's answer. I already know me and Brian's answer. So I'll let Matt go first, get his answer out of the way because his answer sucks. And then me and Brian will tag team on our answer. So, Matt, why do you hate life, and why is Prisoners above Nightcrawler?
I hate you so much, dude. I hate you so much for this. This is absurd.
Nah, here's why I like Prisoners more than Nightcrawler. First of all, when I saw the Prisoners trailer for the first time, remember, this is back, I was like, yeah, I like movies. And I was just starting to get into like more. And then I saw this trailer and I was like, holy fuck. This movie looks pretty dark, and I like dark movies. Like, you want to know how dark I like movies? Like, I've watched maybe Sicario like 4 times already. Like twice on Blu-ray or 3 times on Blu-ray and 1 time in movie theaters.
You're gonna make me want to throw up right now.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that movie, I want to go throw up.
Yo, somebody get a bucket from.
I want to go take a shower right now.
Damn, dude. But I mean, yes, I've only watched the movie maybe twice or 3 times, I think, if I remember. Yeah, 3 times. But it's just such a good movie. Not only is Roger Deakins cinematography beautiful, but yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal's put up with Hugh Jackman shit the entire movie. And he's doing a good job at it. Like, just watching these two go at it in some scenes is like, oh, damn. One of these 2 guys are going to rip each other's heads off. And also how there's this one scene near the end that's just so intense because you're like, oh, shit, is he going to make it or is he not going to make it, It's just so good. And, again, obviously we could always talk about Hugh Jackman another time with his intense role. But when you look at Jake Gyllenhaal in the movie, he's just trying to figure out where these girls are the entire movie. And he, remember that one scene, freaking loses his shit, smashes his keyboard. There's also another crazy scene with the interrogation room that I'm not going to talk about it because that's an insane part. But it's just he just goes through traumatic shit through the entire movie, as well as he's just getting shit, and he just puts up with it, and he's able to, survive, basically. So it's pretty great, that movie.
It's definitely one of the grimmest child abduction movies I've ever seen. Like, it's just it's just creepy. Like, it's just soaked in atmosphere and just darkness.
Like weirdness too is great.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't knock your number 1. It's a good pick. Prisoners is it was definitely in my top 10 of 2013. I forgot where though, but that and Enemy both. So, and Sicario, Villeneuve, don't disappoint me ever, or I will raise some hell. All right, so That's a great number one. That's cute. It's a cute number one. It's adorable. But Brian, would you like to say the phrase, because I love hearing it every single time?
Steady hands, steady hands, steady hands. Nightcrawler is our number one.
What's the monologue he tells Rene Russo about his production company?
The name of my company is For Your Production News, a professional news gathering service. That's how it should be read, and that's how it should be said. Now, when I say that I want these things, I mean that I want them, and I don't want to have to ask you again.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Nightcrawler is our number one. Now, listen. Every Jake Gyllenhaal film I have liked for the most part. Like, I haven't found – I wrote down everything I've seen from him. I don't have any duds. So I've actually liked him in everything. He is a great actor, well-rounded, and he delivers every single time. However, Nightcrawler was the one where it went from he's a really damn good actor to holy shit, this guy's going to be in the pantheon of actors the older he gets. Nightcrawler is a great character study. It is creepy. The dialogue is so good, and it drives that movie like at 100 miles an hour. Towards the end of it, it's got a really cool kind of suspense thriller type of scene. Like your heart is pounding. I remember when I watched it in theaters, and Brian knows what scene I'm talking about. It's towards the end, and it's like, oh my God, what the fuck is going to happen? Not only that, it's shot really well. It's got some of the best nighttime cinematography I've seen from LA since like Collateral and stuff. It's well shot. It's well acted. He goes ballistic in this role. You believe that he's Lou Bloom, this slimy motherfucker that just, is trying to make it in this, freelance type of news world and stuff. It's just really good, man. And because the only thing it was nominated for was original screenplay. And Matt's right. I don't even care if he didn't win, but he should have been nominated. Like, that was the role that everyone was talking about that year. It was Jake Gyllenhaal and the Lego Movie. Those were the biggest snubs of that year for sure. This is just a crazy, psychotic role from Jake Gyllenhaal, but he delivers it so well. And you just want to follow this guy. You don't know why, but he's so intriguing, but he's so slimy, dirt baggish at the same time. I mean, there's one fucking scene where he's covering a murder site. He's just taking his camera inside the house and like filming dead bodies and stuff. I'm like, wow, this guy's the scum of the earth right now. But you know what?
He edits that too after.
Yeah, he edits. It's so disturbing, but his character's fascinating. You don't know why you're glued to him, but the thing is with this character, he might be dark and disturbing, but the way he like conducts himself with business and the way he sells himself to Rene Russo or whoever the hell else he's talking in the movie, he's convincing. Like, that's what's strange about his character is that he's really smart. He knows what he's doing. He just kind of takes like a questionable approach at things. He's almost like an anti-hero in some ways, leaning more towards the anti in that scenario. But Nightcrawler is by far the best movie and performance he has given thus far in his career, but he's still got a lot more in him. Especially, I'm really curious to see how Oscar-worthy that Boston Bomber movie is going to be that he's in. So, but yeah, Nightcrawler is the pinnacle that he's done so far. That's why it's my number one. Brian, take it away.
You said everything I need to say. It's a fantastic film. The performance alone is just cringeworthy. You don't know whether or not he's a good guy or bad guy. You watch the movie from the beginning, you're like, is this guy good? Is this guy bad? We don't know. And you said he's more like the anti-hero type of guy. And the monologues that he says, like the one I said before with the name of my company, that alone was pretty superb. And how he closes his deals with Rick. Rick's like, can I have $5,000? Not now. We close the deal. Like, just that. Like, even what he says, like, even if it's not funny, just like the way he said, it's like the dark humor type of thing. And I love dark comedy, and this is a perfect example of a good movie with dark comedy. And with the whole nomination thing, he was nominated for every other award. He was nominated for the Globe, the BAFTA, the SAG. So he really should have been a lock to be nominated for Best Actor. But of course, the Academy is too safe by nominating the safe performances, and then they give it to the guy in the wheelchair. But I can't complain now because that's a long time ago. But still, everything you said is my same thing with Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was one of my favorite films of 2014. It was my number 5. It was very high up in my list. And when it got released on Netflix, like last year, I watched it again. It's so fucking good. To me, it is the best movie from Gyllenhaal's career. It is the best performance he's ever done because the weight loss alone just intrigued me. I remember when I saw photos of him losing all the weight. I'm like, what is this? What are you doing?
He was like 100 pounds, wasn't he? Like, fucking Jesus.
Well, what's strange about it is that he did Nightcrawler, and then, I mean, yeah, they were shot at different times, but to us as the viewer, he went from Nightcrawler to Southpaw, and it's like he like lost all that weight, and then he bulked up for the boxing role. So, I mean, yeah, they were shot at different times, but
and the thing is, he wasn't required to lose that weight. He chose to lose that weight, so that is called dedication, and that's why alone he probably should have won his first Oscar for this. But then again, I was rooting for Michael Keaton that year. That was my favorite performance of 2014. Don't start. Don't say his name. Don't do it.
No, I was going to talk about Steve Carell. Like, they should have just took him out as the main actor and put Jake in. I don't know why they did that. Or Bradley Cooper didn't even need to be in there.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper did not.
Like, there was 2 questionable, like, best actor put-ins there. Like,
nah, Bradley Cooper had to be in there.
Like, Bradley Cooper should have been there, and then Steve Carell should have been in supporting. Like,
just to briefly end this, like, he wasn't even nominated for anything else. But yeah, Nightcrawler, number 1, fantastic. I'm ashamed of you for not putting it as your number 1. Because I kind of wanted all of us to have the same number.
Hey, you gotta change something, all right? You gotta make something different. Nobody's gonna listen to us all yap about the same movie.
We've yapped about the same movie before. People still listen.
It's true. No one ever likes to listen to me. Like they just like to hear me and Brian yell.
I love you, bro.
Thanks, grab like a piece of paper and be like right here to the screen.
Brian, you know it's true though. People listen for the arguments. All right, so that is our list, guys. So. What is your favorite Jake Gyllenhaal film? And tell me what your favorite is. Here is what ours are. It's a very interesting list. I recommend all of these. Yeah, there's nothing bad on here. I can't say that there's any duds. So let's get into some that barely made the list. Honorable mentions. I'm going to go ahead and fly through mine. Donnie Darko. You got to watch that about 500 times.
Donnie Darko.
What?
I thought you were going to put Donnie Darko on your list. When you said, I'm shocked you guys didn't put this, I thought you were going to put Donnie Darko because that seems like a movie that you would put on your top 5.
Yeah, true, but I haven't seen it in a while, so I couldn't justify it. All right, so Donnie Darko, Jarhead, Brothers, Source Code, End of Watch, Prisoners, Everest and Demolition. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in my honorable mentions because I don't care what any of you fucks have to say. I'm putting Bubble Boy in there. Because Bubble Boy was one of the first ones I ever saw of Jake Gyllenhaal. And I like it. It's a stupid comedy. Sue me. So, Matt, we'll go to you. What are some that barely just escaped your list?
I actually only have 3 honorable mentions.
Okay.
Southpaw, and then Source Code, so close. So close, but, you know, I haven't seen the movie since I first saw it, so it's why it's been a while since I've seen it.
Okay.
It's a pretty simple honorable mentions list.
My honorable mentions: Donnie Darko, Brokeback Mountain, End of Watch, Everest, Jarhead, Southpaw, and Brothers. Brothers is pretty good, but that's Tobey Maguire's film. Everyone, listen, that's an underrated film. Tobey Maguire kills it in that film, so watch it mainly for Tobey Maguire. You guys say, oh, he couldn't do anything after playing emo Spider-Man. Well, watch Brothers, and then you guys will be proved wrong. Yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
Should I make like a section where I said movies I haven't seen? Because
Maybe.
There's a good amount. Like as we said, Enemy, Brokeback. We already said I'd never seen Donnie Darko. Sadly, I need to watch that. I know I should probably watch the director's cut version, not the regular version.
You just watch the version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen Prince of Persia. I haven't seen Jarhead, and then also I've not seen Brothers.
Yeah, watch Brothers. That'd be my pick for you. All right. So with that said, let's go into the dumps. I don't have any because I like everything I've seen. Now he's done a lot that I haven't seen, but out of the ones I have on this list, I like them all. So, Matt, take it away.
I mean, originally I was like, Day After Tomorrow is a little but then there was one movie that was really bad that actually came out last year or the year before that wasn't really well known because it was originally a David O. Russell movie.
You did not see that BS.
No, I did because it was on HBO and it was so fucking bad.
BS.
Too much political bullshit.
That's BS. You did not see
Chase, have you ever heard of a movie called Accidental Love?
Unfortunately, I have.
Mm-hmm. You know how bad the political jokes are. Jesus.
Yeah, the whole trailer just made me want to go sweat and then go to the bathroom. So
Yeah.
All right. So Brian, what about you?
I only have to choose dishonorable mentions. Prince of Persia. I was a big fan of the games growing up. I saw the movie at midnight because at that time there were only midnight shows. There weren't any of the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 showings. I was so let down. And then another one is Love and Other Drugs. It's promoted as a comedy, but then it's like a fucking drama. Edward Swick. What the fuck are you doing directing this film?
Okay. I mean, I have it on my list, but it's okay. That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen an awful one yet. Even Day After Tomorrow, I love Roland Emmerich's just disaster porn. So I mean, I haven't I haven't walked out of a Jake Gyllenhaal movie going, oh my God, that was a train wreck. Now listen, Matt suggested Accidental Love. I can never fucking touch that. So in my eyes, that will never be in my vicinity. So I don't even have to worry about that being my worst because I don't have worse yet. So
his film is definitely worse than mine. Mine is The Day After Tomorrow. I personally did not like this film whatsoever. It was so long. It was overbloated. Jake Gyllenhaal plays a character that's my age, ironically. He plays a kid that's in the city, gets trapped there with his love, Emily Rosan, a.k.a. I'm trying to remember her name, Fiona from Shameless. And then his father, Dennis Quaid, trying to go to New York and rescue him. It's Independence Day meets climate. So, I mean, it's basically just Independence Day. Although I would have wanted Harvey Firestein to be there in the car when the snow was coming. He would have been like, oh, crap. So, I mean, yes. Day After Tomorrow, not a good film. So long, so overbloated. I just don't care. And Independence Day 2 better be good. I'm confident that will be. But yeah, Day After Tomorrow. That's a big pile of shit. All right, so so that is our episode, guys. Jake Gyllenhaal film. So the question to you: what is your least favorite, whatever, all that stuff about Jake Gyllenhaal, Jakey G, down below in that comments, right below my face. So Brian, what are we doing next week? Next week, another big, gigantic, awesome episode because we are honoring writer-director Richard Linklater in honor of his recent film, Everybody Wants Some. Boom!
This is going to be a good one. Just like this week, it's going to be hard as fuck to come up with. So, there's going to be a lot of arguing stuff. I'm okay with that. So, yeah, Richard Linklater for next week. Do what?
There'll be a lot of arguments, and it'll be fucking great.
Oh, it's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of battles on as to why Brian's going to go against me when he picks something else, and I pick the Before trilogy and say it's one of the best things ever. And there's going to be blood. There will be blood. That's Paul Thomas Anderson. So next week, Richard Linklater in honor of Everybody Wants Some. It's going to be a lot of fun. So before we head out, where can the people find you online, guys?
Matt doesn't have any social media, so I'll just go off and say Twitter, Brian Sutton98, and on YouTube at Brian Sutfield.
All right. If you want to follow me on Twitter, let me pop up in there fucking is right there at Real Chase Lee. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, podcast, reviews, all that shit. It's all on there, and it's all for you. So we'll see you guys next week for the top 5 Richard Linklater films. This has been Jakey G episode, and this was a fun one. So. Matt, thank you for coming on, man. You'll have to come back eventually in the future sometime.
Probably not the Linklater thing because I've only seen one Linklater movie, so I'm a terrible person. Yeah.
That's a disgrace. So with that being said, we'll see you guys next week. And the intro and outro music is done by my friends band Fervent Roze. Check them out. Let's play it out. Here we go. Jake Gyllenhaal. That motherfucker. He's so awesome. All right, we'll see you guys later.